Hello and welcome back to another day in the arena. It's me, it's CGB, and today we are here to talk about Mono Blue because Robert Wagner Krenkel took down the SCG Open in Dallas with exactly this list. But that's not the whole story. The list is card for card, exactly the deck played by pro player Alexander Hayne, who is the #1 Mythic in MTG Arena. This, to my knowledge, is the first time we have seen a full crossover from Arena to the paper card game with first place finishes for each deck. We knew Mono Blue was good. I covered it. I made, I think, a 29 episode series on it last season, but has it ever been better positioned than it is in the metagame right now? Probably not. While red is a challenging matchup, it is not unwinnable, and the deck got a huge upgrade from Pteramander. This deck is also a nightmare for control decks and for Nexus of Fate, which is probably the reason it is so popular at the moment. So Pteramander in the deck, now the deck has more size and more power than it had in the past, with Pteramander's ability to be a 5/5, while still maintaining its low to the ground, rather obnoxious, some would say, ability to hammer the opponent in the early game and just get way ahead using Curious Obsession. So, Alexander Hayne, #1 Mythic, got there, put out a tweet. His tweet contained his deck list and his sideboard, and how to sideboard with the deck. The tweet has 875 likes, 111 retweets, and obviously it got around. If you've played more blue, if you think it's because some YouTuber played it, probably not. It's probably the power of Twitter and that label hitting #1 Mythic in the world. It's pretty cool to see Magic Arena starting to matter and influence the entire game of Magic and not just be kind of a side toy for some people to play with. Nope, actual paper competitors are picking up Magic Arena #1 Mythic deck lists and killing it. So, lots to learn, lots to be said. I'm very excited about it. Looking over the deck list, there shouldn't be too much that surprises you. I love the one Blink of an Eye because sometimes you just need to get out of a tough spot. Blink of an Eye is never a dead card, and it might just save you from something odd, like an Ixalan's Binding that resolved. And then going down the list, the 2 Dive Downs and 3 Spell Pierce may be a bit of a surprise. The right split on the protection spells is always an interesting one. There's also 1 Essence Capture to counter a creature spell and put a +1/+1 counter on another creature. I mean, all of it, the numbers are a little bit, I'm not sure where I would have got to the numbers, but I'm sure somebody who played it all the way to #1 Mythic had a lot of time to think about those numbers. This is a case where trusting their tuning is probably a good idea. 3 Chart a Course. I always wondered why this deck didn't play more Chart a Course. It's basically like a Curious Obsession that you cast for 1 turn that gets you 2 cards right away instead of 1. And also Chart of Course goes very well with Pteramander, and it feels like you need more spells to draw more cards and fill your graveyard faster for the Pteramander. So the Chart of Course makes a lot of sense to me. 19 Islands, and the sideboard. Some interesting cards in the sideboard you may not have expected. This new common from Allegiance, the Fairy Duelist. 1/2 Flash Flyer. When it enters the battlefield, target creature and opponent controls gets -2/-0 until end of turn. Just an odd little racing item. There are matchups where Merfolk Trickster is absurdly good. This is sort of like your 5th and 6th Merfolk Trickster. Also on here we have some negates, which shouldn't surprise anybody, a Search for Escanto, which surprises some people, but the deck does need to have a recurring source of card advantage sometimes, because believe it or not, there are matchups where you may wish to cut Curious Obsession. We'll get into that in just a moment. There are 3 Surge Mares, which are fantastic against a number of decks. You bring them in a lot of cases, but not usually because they can't be blocked by green creatures. Usually to block red and white creatures is where you see a lot of Surge Mare. Deep Freeze, I guess that's a way to hit a Niv Mizzet. It does what it has to do. If your opponent plays big flyers like Lyra, Niv Mizzet, or Doom Whisperer, this might be the card. Drakes, it's probably fantastic against Drakes as well. Exclusion Mage. Sometimes if your opponent is also playing those Lyras and other big bodies, it's also pretty good against a Wildgrowth Walker to try to swing a race. And Entrancing Melody, did you know you can steal Hydroid Crassus for 2 mana? Yes, you can. Or, wait, 4 mana. 4 mana. I'm sorry. Tokens for 2 mana. Hydroid Crassus for 4 mana. Before I go spreading lies. But, yeah, Entrancing Melody still has a lot of spots in the meta. Now, on the tweet, Hayne posted a sideboard guide. I'm gonna read it, because why would I mess with the best? I'm sure anybody can log into Twitter and read a tweet, but I'm bringing the knowledge to you, my YouTube audience. So, against the mono blue mirror, you want to add the duelists, you want to add the exclusion mages, and you want to add Entrancing Melody, stealing that Curious Obsessed creature, for example. Then you take out Wizard's Retort, because it's a bit too expensive. And you take out Chart a Course, because it's easy to spell pierce. Now, that's if you're on the draw, because these are too slow on the draw and too expensive. If you're on the play, sometimes you want to sideboard differently. On the play, you can take out the Spell Pierce and leave in the and take out 2 retorts and take out 2 Chart a Courses, but leaving in some amount of Wizard's Retort rather than take out all of them, because you have that mana advantage. Moving right along, against mono red, this is where you want your Surge Mares. Get them into the deck. And this is also against mono red, you want Entrancing Melody. Grabbing Steamkin and Chain Whirler can be a big game. And go ahead and grab 1 negate for those burn decks, but don't grab all the negates. You don't want to be without creatures because of that. Take out your Mistcloaked Heralds. They're too tiny. They don't do enough. Take out 3 of your Wizard's Retorts. They are too slow and too expensive. And take out the Blink of an Eye. You don't need to blink anything against red. It's all good. Against Esper midrange, add the Search for Azcanta, because it's time to grind. Add 1 of your negates. Add 2 of your Deep Freezes to take out their Lyra, whatever their big payoff is. Get your Deep Freeze in there. They also use Thief of Sanity, which this isn't great against Thief of Sanity, but you need something. Then take out the Blink of an Eye. All their stuff is value. You don't really want them to do their value-y stuff. And take out your Spell Pierces. Those aren't going to have too many targets against Esper midrange, and Thief of Sanity is the key card in that deck. If you play against Esper Control or Wilderness Reclamation, that is where you want all 3 negates and your Search for Azcanta added to the deck. Take out your Essence Capture. It doesn't have a target here. Take out your Blink of an Eye. You don't have to worry about blinking anything. Take out a Merfolk Trickster. 3 is just fine. They're not going to tap creatures very often. Having the Flash Threat is nice, but you don't need it. And take out a Mistcloaked Herald, because it's one of your lower powered threats and it doesn't attack for very much. You can see that Hayne doesn't over sideboard. He doesn't cut like all of this and all of that very often. It's very much keeping the core of the deck intact and making small adjustments. Against Izzet Drakes, you definitely want the Deep Freezes, and go ahead and add 2 out of the 3 negates just to catch the occasional Rahl that may come out of the sideboard, and Beacon Bolt and some other removal spells to kill your things. Get out the Blink of an Eye. You don't really want to bounce the Drakes. Get the Spell Pierce back out of there. Go down to 2. Cut 1 of the Chart a Courses, trim that, and cut 1 of the Wizard's Retorts. Against Sultai, add 2 Entrancing Melodies. That's it. Now, if you are on the draw, cut 2 of your Wizard's Retorts, and if you're on the play, cut 2 of the Spell Pierces. I will include a link to this tweet and the sideboard guide in the description, if I can remember. I probably will. And you can remind me in comments if I don't, if you want the full sideboard guide written up. All right. With that said, let's get out there, play some games, and go mono blue on some people. All right, this hand has 4 lands, which is an absolute joke in this deck. We have 19 land in the deck, and we get this. But still, it has Curious Obsession and a Dork, so we'll hang on to it. I like to lead on the Terramander here because it might eat a Lightning Bolt. With no way to protect our Curious Obsessed creature, it is very risky. Our opponent's going to play an island. Well, that's what we like to see. Let's suit up. And let's draw a protection spell, please. drawing 5 lands. What a ridiculous thing to do when your deck has now 14 lands left in the deck. Let's see how many we can draw in a row. All right, I'm going to play out the Herald. The Opt can wait, and I need another creature on the board in case I find another Curious Obsession and this Pteramander dies. The opponent with the Opt. Here's the red mana, here's the Lava Coil or the Shock. Ta-da! Alright. Now we've got to find something else. Ah, there was Siren Storm Tamer. So maybe I should have just waited on the Obsession. I'll take you. You're pretty good. Of course, a Drake will cause a lot of trouble. The opponent getting impatient on opting. They've done all opt on end step to this point, and they finally got over that. So, is it Drake time? It's Drake time! Dun 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 dun! Retort. A little bit slow. I guess I should hold it, though, for a Crackling Drake. Or should I play out my Tempest Shin? I can protect it with a Storm Tamer from a Lava Coil or anything like that. So I'll go for this. It will be really obnoxious if the opponent also has a Crackling Drake. Chart a course. All right. Now you have a 5/4. Not attacking, though. Interesting. I could drop this Trickster and get in for a bunch. Or I could see if my opponent blocks and then use the Trickster. They're tapped out right now. That's pretty good. I'd rather kill the creature. And they're going to take the damage. All right. Then let's end the turn. We'll respond to what our opponent does. It does open up the potential of dive down, protecting the Enigma Drake, but they're at 10. Here comes something. Maybe not. Maybe this. Okay. Go ahead and discover. We're an island away from a potentially lethal board. This is 7, this is 8, 9. There's a Lava Coil. We can protect it with the Storm Tamer. I think that is... Gosh, we are really close to that lethal board, though. But I think it's best to protect it with the Storm Tamer and not go for that lethal, which would require exactly our 6th island off the top in a deck that's already drawn so many. All right. Enigma Drake now 7. Here's a Shock for the... Yep, that's fine. All right. Now what? Okay. So I do think I can kill the Enigma Drake now. I think now that the opponent plans to block, so I'm going to hold on to the Trickster. Here's the block. Here's the trick, which will take away the ability of the Enigma Drake, turning it into an 0/4 that is now dead. Let's play out our Mistcloaked Herald and have the retort available. And let's fight. There may be a Spell Pierce here to make sure that that Enigma Drake resolves, but I still think we have to try it. And there's the Spell Pierce. Well, I think I force a trade. I think that's how we play this. While the opponent's down on blue mana, and I still have 2 creatures left, although drawing 6 lands is so absurd. Our opponent is flooding as well, so we're kind of even on that front. Down to 4. The top deck race. Here's Crackling Drake. That's a good one. That's a very good draw. Can we match it with, say, a Merfolk Trickster, something like that? Lava Coil, let's dive that down. Let's keep our Mistcloaked Herald attacking. The opponent now with a 2-turn clock, though, off the Crackling Drake. We draw a retort. This means the opponent can't attack, though, with the Crackling Drake, or they die to the Trickster. Here's Opt. Sure thing. It's a very tense game. Pteramander. I have to counter it. If I don't, the opponent will be able to attack with the Drake, and that's a 2-turn clock. And as long as I do it like this, the Drake can't attack as long as they're stuck on one threat. Let's hope the next card they find is a removal spell, so that the dive down is relevant. If it's another creature, we're in trouble. Chart a course, draw 2, discard 1. Is it a removal or a creature? Another land. Another Mistcloaked Herald. Could be the nail in the coffin. Herald gets in. Herald to the battlefield. And in the darkest hour, does the tiniest of Merfolk warriors finish the job they do? Against the Drakes, we want 2 deep freezes and 2 negates, according to the Bible of Alexander Hayne. The negates, I'm thinking, are primarily more protection spells because Drakes has so much removal and gets so much, they're able to find so much removal, while Deep Freeze makes a lot of sense just to get those Drakes out of the way. Let's see, they say that we're going to cut a blink of an eye. Of course. The blink of an eye basically gets cut in every matchup because it's a universal answer that isn't needed after you sideboard in better specific answers. Deep Freeze is better against Drakes than a blink of an eye. Think about Crackling Drake, for example. All right, so out goes a 1 retort, 1 Chart a Course. Basically, the negates coming in to take that spot. Blink of an eye, yep. And 1 Spell Pierce. Okay, battle onward. This hand has everything I think we want. Let's hang on to it. Terramander on 1 from our opponent. Do I play the Mistcloaked Herald on 1? I feel like my first creature is going to get removed, and the Mistcloaked Herald gets through the flyers, so I'm going to lead with the Terramander, which is likely to die. I can also try to trade it. There is the coil. That didn't take long, did it? And Terramander gets busy. All right, here is a Storm Tamer and a Herald. And if we untap with both of these, putting the Obsession on the Herald is protected. If we untap with one of them, maybe we gamble. Shock down the Storm Tamer, sure. Second Terramander, scary. All right. Double up. Make them have the 3rd removal spell here. I think so. They have an opt. That's what they're holding, at least. Ooh, it's a lot of opt. Okay, they don't have an opt. They're on full control, or they have dive down. There's the coil. Ah, they did have it. We made them have it, but they had it. They had it no problem. You know they were sweating when they cast that card. So now we need Tempest Djinn, something to be more powerful here. I love the Wizard's Retort, but now's not the time. I have nothing to protect. I think that we still take that gamble. I think it's worth it. I think it's the way that we get back in the game. Now, how many removal spells do you have? So far, it's been all burn all day. Enigma Drake. We still have an Essence Capture in the deck, so let's see if we can find it in response. Another Curious Obsession. I mean, I don't think I can get rid of that card, but I also don't think I'm in the right spot for it. I think I do have to bottom you. Oh, but it's the card that gets us back in the game. It's so tough. All right, I'm taking it, even though it might be a mistake in the spot. Now let's see if the opponent's willing to attack in. That implies to me that they still have a dive down. I'm going to dig harder with another opt. We drew the negate. Okay, take that. 1, 2, 3. No blocks. We're going to be the first one with the giant Terramander, which I think we just go for, because then it's out of Lava Coil range. Roar. And I'll sit on defense. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All right, now you have a giant Pteramander, and you have a giant Pteramander. No locks. Man, how am I gonna get out of this one? I guess I'll try to draw perfectly. I'm just gonna go in there as a 6/6 and try to draw like a trickster, some kind of chump blocker. Nah, that wasn't it. Ugh. 2 floods in a row? Weird. Don't think we counter that. But our opponent can just light us up here. They have the lethal swing. They're probably trying to play around Merfolk Trickster or something like that. Yep, there's lethal. Game 3. Was it the wrong play to go for that Miscloaked Herald? Probably. Probably. I had opt. I could have set up my hand better. I shouldn't rush so much. That hand would have also been infinity better on the play, I think. But alas. I suppose I'll keep it. I don't love it, but Trickster Chart a Course hopefully can get the ball rolling. Or maybe just Chart a Course. Alright, kick it on over. Opponent without the Pteramander, me without the Pteramander. No 1-drops. Weird. Discovery, sure. Figure yourself out. We'll play the Trickster so that we can have a draw 2 Chart a Course. We still have Spell Pierce, but we don't have Wizard's Retort open, which could be bad. Oh, okay, we find a Pteramander. Do I play it? It is the best thing this hand has going. I'm going to wait. It's interesting because it's the turn I know my opponent wants to play an Enigma Drake. All right. Shock. Discovery. Let's cut that off. That also puts a spell in the graveyard for the Pteramander. Hopefully we get something to counter here so we can untap and evolve the Pteramander. That is a something. And countering it's better than deep freezing it because of the card draw that they get. Alright, let's go, buddy. See if you can carry this. It is very hard for them to deal 5. And right now they don't have enough spells for a Beacon Bolt to do it. They have another Crackling Drake. It's pretty good. And they have a Pteramander of their own. Alright, deep freeze you. See if the opponent will block here. Probably not. Ooh, okay. Again, a lot of land. Deck has no problem finding land. There's Niv. That's what we have this card in the deck for. And whether or not we use it on that Crackling Drake, we would have to think about a lot. Now we find out if our opponent has another Niv to go way over the top of us. Oh my god! Are you kidding right now? Come on, Curious Obsession off the top. We needs it. We needs Curious Obsession right off the top. We get an opt instead. Alright, I'm going in. Going in hot. Chump blockery. Should I go for this opt? Because if I find a dive down, that's such a big play. But if I just find any other threat, I'm happy, right? So, yeah, I'm not going to give my opponent more cards. It's a tough call, though. Another land? And another land? What on earth is happening to me? Third Niv? What nonsense is this game? And that's probably game over. Down goes Storm Tamer, of course. But what on earth? How many Niv you play? Alright. Ah, God, what could we even draw? Nothing. Nothing. We died. We flooded on land, they flooded on Niv. Unbelievable. Yeah. Good match, good match. This hand is okay. We have to find a Curious Obsession or a Jhin, but we have some tools to do it, so we'll give it a try. Breeding Pool. All right, maybe some kind of a mid-range deck. Let's start getting in there. 4 lands now. More than we want. More than we want. All right, I guess it could be Fog. Let's opt it up. There's the card we want. Go, baby, go. That's enough land, thank you. Let's stop with that. Enough. Curious Obsession, the opponent checking their hand. I wonder if they're thinking about root snaring me. It's a card for a card if they do that, which maybe that's what they want. All right. Draw, another Obsession. Okay. Well, if we are against Nexus, this is exactly what we want to be doing. Blink of an eye. Well, I guess I do have to defend. Can I see what it's targeting? Because it could target the Obsession. All right. Yep. Let's hit that dive down button. And the opponent let me draw that card and went for that on end step. I find that pretty weird. So now I get to untap again. Let's double down on Curiousness. Would you like to draw cards? This is another one that I wish would be changed from the word may. Holy crap. Are you kidding? Are you kidding? Yeah, let's say no. Let's not. Let's not. Please. All right. We're going to need to draw some more interaction here. We have 2 draws to do it. This flood, though, has been pretty brutal. Oh my god. Last chance. Oh god. This is gross. We might lose this. We might lose this to this flood. This epic flood. We need an arc for a flood of this magnitude. Opponent passes the turn over. It might be fog time. So I didn't go for the Pteramander there, just in case they had a fog. I didn't want to instigate it, but it might have been lethal. I just... My brain. My brain. I think we might be in trouble. A lot of trouble. Because I don't know if this is going to connect again. I'm in shock. There's only 8 more lands left in 40 cards. This is so brutal. So, do I grow you? I think I'd rather just play you. It's a lethal attack anyway. Committing the mana to the Pteramander only opens the door. That Spell Pierce could be huge. But they have enough mana to pay for the Root Snare, so... Alright. That's such a sign of weakness, but maybe it can help us. Maybe it can help us at some point. Should have gone for it, right? Should have gone for that Pteramander. All right, I'm gonna Spell Pierce you. Hope for the best. If they had another land, they would have played it. Which means they can't Root Snare. Okay. Somehow we stole that game. Holy cow. What on earth? What am I getting into? Alright, let's add the search so we can find more counters and flood out less. Let's get the negates in there. should be pretty favored in the matchup. What we definitely don't need is Blink of an Eye, and now we're going to cut Spell Pierce because they're going to play around it a lot, probably. No, let's not do that. Let's cut the Essence Capture and the Trickster for sure. And the Herald, I guess, for being mopey. But the opponent will play around Spell Pierce. That's kind of a win, too. Alrighty, game on. I mean, God, it's 4 lands and no interaction. We could lose this game before it even starts. So I'm going to mulligan that hand mainly because of the matchup. This is not better, by the way. This is not better, but I'm not going to go to 5. You'd think we have so many draws that would be good against it. All right, why are you holding on your own end step? Here go. Why would you hold me on your own end step? That's a good top deck. Now that is a 7-card hand I would have kept just because of Pteramander into Charted Course. Here's his Kanta. Our clock begins. So I think that Charted Course is a lot better here than the other Pteramander. And we still haven't drawn a counterspell. 4 Wizard's Retort, 3 Negates, 3 Spell Pierces. We looked at 2 hands. All right, we got one. We got one. Game on. We needed it that turn because the next turn is the Wilderness Reclamation turn, and if they get that, they have infinite mana, basically. All right, let's drop our Pteramander number 2. Not the Jin. The Growth Spiral, I think we just have to let be to try to tag a Reclamation here. There it is, and there it isn't. Okay, I guess we have to get in there and drop a Jin and try to put a clock on them, but we didn't draw enough interaction this game. That is for sure. That is for sure. So if there's another Reclamation here, we're just toast. Of course, they'd have to have like Reclamation and Nexus, so maybe I'm overvaluing it. There might still be Hydroid Crassus. That's a big pain. Yep, there you go. Fortunately, we have Trickster to push through on it a bit. We also have Tempest Jin, which we could just dive down buff. We can't attack with everybody and play a second Jin. Is that better? Where's the opponent's graveyard? 4. So the reason you think about that is if the Crassus goes to the graveyard, does it flip as Kanta? It doesn't at this point. We can't power up these Pteramanders. We could play Tempest Jin, hold up interaction-looking mana. If the opponent takes 6 and they're at 12, and then we play Tempest Jin, next turn, and then Trickster down the Crassus, the attack is lethal. We could draw a counterspell to interact with their Root Snare. If they didn't hit us on upkeep, it would be lethal. I think the right play is to swing now and not use the Trickster. The opponent goes for blocking the Jin. They check the graveyard. The Pteramander block is the greedy block. The Jin block blocks for time. So, happy to let Pteramander go. Second Jin, your turn. Chemister's Insight to the bin, card in hand. Second Crassus, oh no. We'll have to draw second Trickster, I think. Would you like to attack? Would be hella gutsy. Alright. Here's Trickster. Take that down a peg. Is Kanta off the top? Not the time, dude. Everybody in. Still checking that graveyard. Do you take 10 to kill a Pteramander here? Interesting block. You could dive down to keep the Trickster. If the opponent takes this, they go to 3. And then they would need a Root Snare next turn where it's lethal. Or they would need another Crassus. Yeah, I'm doing it. Because they would still take a lethal attack next turn, but I'm out of stuff. I'm all out of stuff, so this game is over if they have any of their good pieces. We just drew too many creatures this time. And away we go, right? On the Wilderness Reclamation ride. Why are they reading my stuff? If they have it, they wouldn't need to. Okay. They're going to Canopy a critter. So yeah, they went control. They went for some kind of a control deck. I wonder if I'm supposed to bring in my Entrancing Melodies for this Crassus. All right, graveyard. That doesn't do it. All right, I think it's better to activate the Pteramander than play the Storm Tamer. Everybody in. Bubble, bubble. Feel the animation. It's a convenient time for a Root Snare. You got me tapped out. Yep. Not surprising. Let's see if they can finish the job. I don't know. I'm also curious if there's still Nexus in the deck after the transformation. It's a lot of Reclamation. They kept that. And now they get to basically Escanta their deck. So this is one of those cases where I'm pretty sure we've lost the game, but we can get a better idea for what they're playing. Okay, they still have Nexus. 1 mana off of using it. Canopy now, sure. Oh yeah, double Reclamation. Okay, that's enough for me now. Let's see if we can get a draw. So, frickin' Crassus, right? It is tempting to bring in Melodies for Crassus. It's hard to tell if they have 4. Also, Melody is such a dead card. I don't like the Search. I feel like that's playing their game of just being too slow. It didn't get an opportunity to get anything. Way too slow for me. The Mistcloaked Herald might be a lot better now that we've seen that they play blockers. Which I believe we should have expected anyway. Is Chart Course too slow? No, because we need to draw into the right things. Tempest Djinn might be too slow. Which is weird to cut. But maybe having like an Entrancing Melody to back up the Tempest Djinn would be the right kind of one of. I'm also thinking, do I want a Trickster for another Melody? But not really. I think what I want is the other Trickster. Just be faster. All right. I'm going to roll with that. Dive down. They showed us a blink of an eye, but I don't feel like there's... Oh, they showed us Crushing Canopy. Yeah, let's keep it. All right, let's go. On the play, give me a good hand. It's okay. I mean, it's quick damage and a counter spell. What more could I ask for? We'll hopefully get this down before Reclamation can happen. If our opponent has a Growth Spiral, that may not be the case, though. Risky. Risky. All right, they're tanking on turn 1. Go ahead, shock yourself and opt. Totally into this. All right. I can hold on to this Trickster, which I think I will. I think I'd rather... Well, maybe I should just play for as quick damage as possible. The thing about Trickster, though, is it can tap down the Hydroid Crassus, but that's probably a ways off from mattering. It can also make Wizard's Retort a possibility if there is a Growth Spiral. Curious Obsession, pretty good. Let's get it going. Hope it does better than our first game, although we still won that first game by some miracle. So again, this is where Tempest Djinn is probably too slow, as now we have a new plan, which is to protect the Mistcloaked Herald. And it is a better plan. Are you ready for that Growth Spiral now? Here it comes. It's coming. You can feel it. You can smell it. There it is. Not going to counter it, though. Four mana Reclamate. They've had it every game so far. Why would this game be different? Oh, a tap land. They could have a blink of an eye. So, changing the clock. So this is 1, 2, 3. I don't have to play it this turn to change the clock. Let's pass. I just need to play it this turn or next turn. Here comes trouble. Crushing Canopy. What are you targeting? I think it's targeting the Curious Obsession, but regardless, it's getting countered. And if we had tapped out on end step to play that Trickster, we definitely would have lost our Obsession. Well, we can leave our mana open just to bluff, which I guess that's the plan. But now we're probably going for Trickster on end step regardless, because if we don't, it's kind of a waste. It does tip our hand, though. Like, how many bluffs can we run? So the opponent's passing. Let's go for it. Again, the bluff is up. Okay, we untapped. Second Obsession. Full control mode, so we click through everything manually and don't give away that we don't have a counterspell. Trying. It's actually really hard for this keyboard for some reason. Huh. So I do think the opponent just didn't run something out into a potential counter. Come on now, draw a counter, please. Where are those negates? We haven't seen a single one. We haven't seen a single one. Oh my god. Just, sometimes your luck is not what you want it to be, my friends. So I'll deploy, man, deploying anything is kind of a give, but I'll deploy some Terramander stuff. And we'll end turn. Draw 2 cards, sure. Still trying to make them think they have to play around something. But my full control was probably too deliberate. But yep. All right, they don't have Nexus. But I don't have anything. 2 cards. Is it Root Snare? It's not Root Snare, and we still steal the game somehow. Holy cow. The things I get away with. Thank you for watching this video featuring the #1 finishing deck from SCG Open in Dallas and the #1 Mythic player Alexander Hayne's deck list and sideboard creation, Mono Blue, Aggro Tempo, whatever you want to call it. Tiny creatures that can do so much work when backed up with the right counter spells and with the right amount of a curious obsession. Thank you for watching this video. As always, I will see you in the next video. Goodbye.